At the beginning of the story, we see two buses traveling on the road. There are many female students on the bus, all of whom are on their way to class. One of them is named Mitsuko, who is very cute in appearance. As she is writing something in her notebook, her friends start teasing her saying, "Do you keep writing all the time? What will you gain by making such notes? Look, everyone else is enjoying themselves. Why don't you do the same?" Saying this, one of her friends grabs her notebook and starts writing in it. She snatches it back, causing her pen to fall. As she bends down to pick up the pen, we suddenly see something moving at an incredible speed, slicing both buses along with the girls inside in half. As a result, all the girls are cut into two parts. As soon as Mitsuko gets up, she is shocked to see what has happened. Since she had bent down to pick up her pen, she was miraculously saved. She becomes extremely frightened after witnessing this, gets off the bus, and starts running. Here, we learn that the force that killed everyone was nothing but the wind, which was blowing people away. This wind now starts chasing Mitsuko as well. Seeing this, Mitsuko starts running at full speed, screaming in terror. While running, she notices 4 more girls ahead of her and runs after them. She warns them to bend down, but it is too late. The wind cuts them in half and moves on. However, Mitsuko manages to save one of the girls. Then, they see a group of girls cycling somewhere. She tries to save them too, but the wind does the same thing to them as it did to her friends. During this, the girl Mitsuko had just saved from the invisible force also gets killed. Now, Mitsuko is terrified and starts running aimlessly. Next, we see that when Mitsuko reaches a river, she is shocked to find that many dead bodies are already floating in it, carried away by the invisible force. She quickly changes into the clothes of one of the dead bodies. In the next scene, we see Mitsuko walking toward a school. She arrives at a different school where many other female students are present. Their uniforms are quite different from hers, indicating that she is not a student of their school. Then, a girl approaches Mitsuko and greets her, saying, "How are you?" This girl is actually her best friend. However, Mitsuko, still confused, asks, "Are you really my best friend?" Because she is unable to understand what is happening to her, she is still in shock. Here, we also learn that Mitsuko and her best friend love each other deeply. Suddenly, a strong wind starts blowing, and Mitsuko panics, rushing inside the building. Her best friend, not understanding the situation, is puzzled and asks, "Why are you shivering so much? Why are you so scared? What has happened to you?" Mitsuko then tells her best friend everything, that a sudden gust of wind came and killed all the students in her school. Hearing this, her friend becomes very concerned. She takes Mitsuko to the window, stretches her hand out, and says, "Look, it's just the wind and nothing else." At this moment, Mitsuko feels a little relieved and starts thinking that maybe this is just a dream, leading her to believe all this. Later, Mitsuko's best friend gathers 2 more friends and makes a plan to leave the classroom. Just as the 4 of them are about to leave, their teacher arrives and sees them, but all 4 of them run away. While running, they reach a lake, where Mitsuko's best friend tells the other 2 about her dream. Then, one of the girls says, "It is possible that this is true, just like there is a mirror world where everything is the opposite of this world." Saying this, she throws a stone into the pond and continues, "Look, I have thrown a stone here, but it is possible that I did not do so in the other world." Then suddenly, a crocodile emerges from the pond and devours one of the girls. The girl then says, "Look, I told you that what happens in this world does not happen in that world at all, and what is happening in that world cannot happen in this world." So, this girl must have been eaten by a crocodile in that world, but here she is completely safe. Near the same lake, a bed is seen. The 4 girls start playing with the pillows on the bed. Then, we see 2 other girls watching them from a distance. One of those 2 girls is wearing a bridal dress because they have just married each other. After this, one of their friends tells them, "We have to do something that is impossible in that world because our fate has already been written, but we can change it." After this, all the girls return to their school and go to class to attend the next lecture. There, they see Mitsuko with a pillow lying near her. As soon as she bends down to pick up the pillow, her teacher suddenly starts firing a gun in the classroom. When Mitsuko looks up after picking up the pillow, she sees that all the girls in her class are already dead. Just like before, she is saved once again, just as she was saved last time in her dreams. Mitsuko's teacher approaches her and says, "How dare you close this class? Your death is certain." At that moment, 2 more girls come and try to save Mitsuko, and they all attempt to escape. However, another teacher arrives and kills both of those girls. Now, Mitsuko tries to escape along with the remaining students who survived. But all the teachers in the school start firing at the fleeing girls. As the girls rush outside amidst the gunfire, the wind strikes again and cuts them apart. Once again, Mitsuko is left alone. She is the only one who survives, and she runs away from there, escaping through a crowded area and reaching a police station. At the police station, she starts telling the officers everything. After listening to her, a female police officer looks at her and says, "But you're not even wearing a school uniform," when the officer places a mirror in front of her. Mitsuko sees that her appearance has completely changed. The people around her are calling her by a different name, not Mitsuko. Here, we realize that Mitsuko was about to get married. The same police officer then takes her to her wedding. The people around her begin congratulating her. As she is taken to the church, Mitsuko's best friend is also present there. Mitsuko, confused and scared, asks her, "What is happening to me?" Her friend tells her, "Stay quiet for now, we are still under someone's control, just do as I say." Saying this, her friend helps her put on the wedding dress and asks her to go forward. As soon as Mitsuko steps forward for the marriage ceremony, all the girls present there start laughing and mocking her. Seeing this, her best friend loses control and starts killing everyone one by one. After this, as Mitsuko moves forward, she sees a coffin standing in place of the groom. When the coffin is opened, a giant pig emerges from inside. Mitsuko is horrified by the sight and immediately attacks the pig with a broken bottle. Then, Mitsuko and her best friend run out of the church. At the entrance, two girls try to stop them, but Mitsuko's best friend kills them, and they escape. Meanwhile, Mitsuko runs in a different direction, because she's beginning to feel that something is seriously wrong with her. As she runs further, she looks at herself in another mirror and finds that she has changed once again. Now, Mitsuko finds herself in a completely different place. A race is taking place there. Suddenly, some girls approach her and say, "You are an excellent racer. Why are you standing still? Why aren't you running?" When Mitsuko starts running, she suddenly feels an immense surge of energy within her. Encouraged by this, she gives her best effort to win the race. While running, she sees the spirits of her dead friends, the ones who were killed in school earlier. At that moment, her best friend also arrives, and both of them notice something shocking. The same pig from the church, along with the women who tried to stop them, are all coming toward them. As they continue running, some girls start telling Mitsuko, "Get out of this world!" After this, we see Mitsuko running away and reaching a deserted, dark place where some students in uniforms are present. All those girls start telling Mitsuko, "We are all dead, and we will kill you too." But then, Mitsuko's best friend arrives, kills that girl, and takes Mitsuko away from there. Mitsuko's best friend asks her to say her name loudly, upon which Mitsuko starts calling out her own name. As she does this, Mitsuko returns to her original form. Her best friend then shows her hand and says, "Please, pull out the wire that is tied to my hand so that I can escape this world." However, Mitsuko is afraid. She fears that pulling the wire might cost her own life. Since Mitsuko deeply loves her best friend, she does not want to do this. But when she is pressured too much, she finally pulls the wire. The moment she does, her best friend's body is torn into two parts. At that very moment, Mitsuko sees a gate. When she steps through the door, she finds herself in the world of men. She also notices posters of herself pasted everywhere. Some boys are looking at those posters. Then, a boy approaches Mitsuko and tells her, "You are in the future." Hearing this, Mitsuko faints. After some time, when she regains consciousness, she moves forward and sees an old man playing a game. In that very game, Mitsuko appears as a character that was just created. The moment the old man sees her, he says, "I created this game, and I am the one controlling all of you. You were killed a long time ago, but I took your DNA and recreated you." When Mitsuko hears this and realizes that she is inside a game, she thinks that maybe she can still return to her real world. At that moment, a man appears and calls out to Mitsuko. Then, the old man asks Mitsuko to complete her final level. As she starts moving forward, she suddenly remembers something her friend once said: if they do something in this world that is impossible in the other world, they will escape from the game. With this thought, Mitsuko suddenly strangles the man and shouts, "Stop playing with us." Saying this, she picks up the old man's stick and stabs him in the stomach, killing him instantly. Here, we see that the old man could never have imagined that Mitsuko would do something like this. Because of her actions, her destiny changes completely. She was dead in this world, the game, but in the real world, she was still alive. Further, we are shown that the other versions of Mitsuko also die for various reasons. Since they have now been killed, they are no longer part of the game. In the next scene, Mitsuko is shown lying in a snowy place. She has finally returned to the real world. And with that, this mind-boggling story comes to an end. Thanks for watching this recap. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to comment below and tell me what movie or series you want me to recap next.